They found the carcasses and the hunting knife, though. Later, they told me the man matched the description of a drifter wanted in 2 similar attacks on campers at other parks.
Ooh, bitch. Damn. What's good, yo? What's good, yo? It's your boy, like your boys, back like a bad, having another banger, and we're back with another one, and welcome back to Spooky Scary Friday. There's your video gonna be in the description if you wanna go check it out. Today, about to react to 3 true Father's Day horror stories animated by MR Scary Shows. Happy Father's Day to everybody, yo. And happy Men's Day to everybody, you feel me? And let's get into it, yo, boys. Don't forget your snack, don't forget your drinks. Again, don't forget, all my socials are in the description, or you guys can send me Spooky Scary animated videos so I can react them on Spooky Scary Friday. But let's get into it, yo, boys. Story 1.
I grew up in a regular house in Wisconsin. My dad, Gerald, was a city worker who coached my soccer team, and my mom, Helen, was the heart of the neighborhood with her Sunday dinners. Life was easy until I turned 12, came home from school one day, and found my driveway full of cops and ambulances. Someone had crashed a car in our living room, and my mom was gone before the EMTs even got there. After that, our family totally fell apart. Dad stopped coaching, cooking, and basically being a dad. I kept waiting for him to snap out of it, but he never did. By college, we were literally strangers who had these awkward 10-minute birthday calls that left me feeling like a dumpster, until eventually, I had to stop calling. So, when Father's Day hit last June, I was again going to be a no-show. But my best friend insisted that since I was right there in Milwaukee for my summer internship, I should go. She said I'd regret it if I didn't even try. I agreed and drove over that Saturday with a card and some cheap whiskey. It was his favorite. Outside the house, everything was pretty much the same. The driveway still had cracks, the lawn looked like a jungle, and the porch had overgrown weeds. My dad welcomed me, wearing the same old flannel he'd had for decades.
Happy Father's Day, Dad.
I beamed and hugged him. We spent the day cooking spaghetti and talking about Mom for hours. It was still painful, but by the time we headed into the living room, I was really glad I'd actually shown up. Suddenly, my eyes fell on the basement door, and I noticed the huge-ass padlock on it. I finally moved all her stuff down to the basement. It's pretty packed in there, so just stay away from it, kiddo. Okay? He said. I nodded, feeling happy that he was finally moving on.
No, he's not moving on.
College and stuff, but I noticed his eyes kept darting back to the basement door. He looked a shade paler and totally jumpy. Around 8:30, the power cut out completely. Dad pushed back from the table, annoyed, before he headed down the hallway to check the breaker. It was dead silent for a minute or two, before this gross, wet coughing sound echoed up from the floorboards, followed by the sound of metal scraping against concrete. My hands started shaking. I looked up at the basement door and felt a pit in my stomach. Dad had been acting weird all day. What in the hell could he be hiding? I pulled out my phone, clicked on the flashlight, and headed toward the back of the laundry room, where we had another door leading to the basement. I cracked it open and shone the light down the stairs and nearly doubled over at the gross odor. It smelled like rust and rot. Covering my nose, I peeked in and caught chains bolted right into the wall at the bottom of the steps. There was a thin mattress on the floor, stacks of canned food,
come on,
and
bro.
a bucket in the corner. It looked like someone had been living down there for years. Didn't I tell you to stay away? I froze and turned. Dad was standing right behind me, looking furious and exhausted.
Dad? What's going on?
It's Dennis Carey. I knew the name. Dennis
Wow.
Carey was the drunk who killed Mom and served 7 years for it. I couldn't just let him walk around like nothing happened.
I'm last word. I cannot say anything. I'm last word.
So I told him I had work for him. When he showed up,
You kept him down?
Before I could even finish the
Chill out, baby girl. He killed your mom by drunk driving, which is illegal.
sentence, a skeletal gray hand shot out from the blackness of the stairwell and clamped around my ankle. I screamed and stumbled, but before he could pull me down, Dad lunged forward and shoved me hard away from the door. "Run, Rebecca! Get out!" he screamed. In the next second, he was yanked off his feet. His chin hit the floorboards with a sickening thud before he was dragged backward, fingernails clawing at the wood, into the dark. Without thinking, I bolted. High-pitched, rasping laughter bubbled up from the basement as I scrambled toward the front door. My hands were shaking so bad, I could barely find the deadbolt. Just as I reached for it, a heavy butcher knife whistled past my ear and
Bitch.
thunked deep into the doorframe, followed by a glass vase that shattered against the wall right next to my head. I spun around, gasping, and saw Dennis emerging from the hallway with a hammer in one
I
hand.
thought he was chained up though. You say he was chained up. My boy is over here throwing knife like, well, what the fuck? You know? What? His skin was looking like rotting paper. He was howling my mother's name at the top of his lungs, laughing like a maniac as he shuffled toward me real fast. I screamed and lunged for the main staircase. I could feel him right behind me. I reached my old bedroom, dove inside and slammed the door shut, just as Dennis reached for it. He slammed into the door hard enough to rattle the whole frame. I shoved my desk against it, gasping for air while he laughed and pounded. "Helen! Open the damn door, sweetheart!" Call 911.
Just as the hinges gave way and he barged inside, I shut my eyes and drove the poker forward with both hands. The metal punched deep into his stomach. He let out this awful wet gasp and stumbled backward, staring down at the metal rod sticking out of him. His hammer clattered to the floor, and he folded up. I don't know how long I sat there, staring at him, before the cops finally showed up. A neighbor had called 911 after hearing all the crashing. They found Dad in the basement. He was already gone. After a few hearings, the whole thing was officially ruled self-defense. But even now, I still wake up some nights, hearing Dennis calling Mom's name from somewhere downstairs.
That's
And on the
tough.
worst nights, I see the look on Dad's face right before he shoved me away. Protecting me was probably the first thing he'd truly cared about in years.
It's like, bro, your dad said don't go downstairs, and you went downstairs. Like, why are you being that nosy? Come on.
And it cost him everything.
Story 2, let's get it.
Asked me before last year, I would have said I had a pretty great life. I was a freight rail worker out of Alexandria, pulling brutal overnight runs through
Ugh.
Virginia and West Virginia. The money was good enough that my wife could stay home with our 9-year-old son, Eli, and fill in where I couldn't. I knew I was missing a lot, but I honestly thought we were fine. We'd been married for 12 years, and we had so many magnets from our family trips that we had to upgrade to a bigger fridge. Every summer, we went camping near Shenandoah because Eli loved it. Then, one Tuesday in January, my train got canceled outside Charlottesville, and I headed home way earlier than expected, only to find a pickup truck in my driveway that I didn't recognize. The divorce was finalized in March. By May, I'd settled into a 2-bedroom apartment downtown that already had a set of bunk beds bolted in, which meant Eli would have something ready for him when he came over on the weekends. I was doing everything I could to make the transition easier on him, but most of it felt useless. So when Father's Day weekend rolled around, I packed up the truck, picked him up from school, and told him we were getting out of the city for a few days. Eli stayed quiet for most of the drive, but once the tent was up and the fire was going, he finally loosened up. We spent the night roasting marshmallows while he grilled me about animals and argued with me over the stars. I remember sitting there thinking, this is exactly what we needed. I should have trusted my gut when it told me something bad was about to happen. That first night, Eli was out cold after the hike and all the sugar. I stayed up by the fire a while longer, watching it burn down. It was way past midnight and dead quiet, as if even the bugs had fallen asleep. Then, I heard it. A slow, heavy dragging sound coming from the trees a few yards away, like something large was being hauled across the dirt. I grabbed my flashlight and aimed it towards the woods, but I couldn't see anything. I tried to tell myself it was just an animal dragging a kill. I'd spent enough time outdoors to know how the woods worked. Still, I could feel eyes on me. I white-knuckled my hatchet and waited, my heart hammering in my chest. But after 10 minutes of nothing, I figured I was just being paranoid. I let out a shaky breath and turned to crawl into the tent when a gust of wind hit my back, followed by a raspy whisper. Happy Father's Day. The voice was low and
Whoa.
came from somewhere beyond the reach of my flashlight. My blood turned to ice, and I sat there frozen for what felt like forever, waiting. But the woods went silent again. Not a single leaf moved. I tried convincing myself I was hearing things. Maybe it was another camper farther down the trail, or maybe the wind was playing tricks through the trees. Still, I kept the hatchet beside my sleeping bag for the rest of the night. The whisper came 2 more times before sunrise. It moved around us, like someone pacing in a slow circle around the tent. But I never heard a single footstep. By the time the sky started turning gray, I was a complete wreck. When Eli finally stirred awake, we took a quick lap around the campsite to make sure everything was okay. The front looked normal enough, but when we rounded to the back of the tent, my stomach dropped and Eli screamed. 3 dead animals dangled from the branches a few feet away. 2 were raccoons, but the third was so mangled I couldn't even tell what it had once been. They were strung up with wire and gutted clean. There was no way I'd missed them the night before. I'd literally hung our food bag in those same trees before turning in. I immediately told Eli to pack up. He could tell something was wrong, but he didn't argue. He helped me break down the tent and clean the campsite in near silence. By the time we made it back to the truck, someone had slashed every one of our tires. That feeling of being watched came crawling back. I shoved Eli behind the truck and pulled out my phone, but before I could dial 911, somebody tackled me from behind. The wind got knocked clean out of me, and I slammed hard into the dirt. The man was huge and covered in filth. His face was buried beneath a massive, matted beard. He looked like some wild animal wearing human skin, like he'd been living deep in the woods for years. Before I could react, he drove a hunting knife straight into my left forearm. A raw scream tore out of me. The pain was immediate and blinding. I grunted and tried to fight him off, but he didn't ease up. He yanked the knife free and raised it to stab me again. I grabbed a fistful of dirt and gravel and threw it directly into his eyes. He screamed and stumbled backward, clawing at his face. I scrambled to my feet, yanked the hatchet out of the gear bag, and swung it as hard as I could. I hit him again and again, until the final strike landed with a sickening thud, and he finally collapsed. Then, I grabbed Eli, and we ran. We reached the highway in maybe 20 minutes. A trucker eventually stopped and called 911, while Eli sat beside me, shaking so hard his teeth chattered. By the time the police arrived, the campsite was empty. They found the carcasses and the hunting knife, though. Later, they told me the man matched the description of a drifter wanted in 2 similar attacks on campers at other parks.
Bitch. Damn. Damn. Shit nasty.
Both during holiday weekends. Both
Jesus.
victims had been fathers traveling with their children. They never found his body. I got 8 stitches, and Eli shook for days afterward. He doesn't like camping anymore. Now he prefers places crowded with people because he understands something most kids never should.
Ah. Story 3, let's get it.
I grew up in Harmony Creek, Indiana, one of those small towns where the Welcome To sign is basically the only landmark. My mom, Kathy, ran the town's bakery, and my dad, Leonard, was a maintenance supervisor at the chemical plant down by the river. But even when I was a little girl, he made me feel weird in a way I couldn't explain. He
Wow.
hugged me every chance he got, sometimes sliding his hand across my back or thigh. It made my
Whoa, that's weird. Wow.
skin crawl. His pecs on the cheek, which looked harmless to everyone else, felt wet and invasive. Once I hit middle school, my friends pretty much stopped coming over. They always had excuses about why they couldn't hang out at my place. But I knew the real reason. He was my dad. When I tried to tell Mom, she instantly got defensive and waved it off, saying he was just an affectionate father looking after me. So I shut up and learned to disappear inside my own home, avoiding him like the plague. The minute I turned 18, I bounced and cut him off so completely that Mom became my only link to that life. Soon enough, school, internships, and jobs consumed me, and I honestly forgot all about him. We had miles between us. I was finally settled in my own place and even had a boyfriend, Matthew, whom I'd met online and was planning to finally meet in person in a couple of months. Then, one Saturday in August, I got the call that Mom had suffered a stroke and died. The memorial service was
Wow.
the following week. I knew I had to go back. I reluctantly booked a flight and packed a bag. The visit somehow fell on Father's Day, so I even bought him a couple of gifts to keep the peace. When I got there, he looked way older and more fragile than I remembered. He spent most of his time cooped up in a messy upstairs office surrounded by computer screens. When I asked about it, he said he was working on coding projects for an internet forum. For the first half of the visit, things actually felt okay. We spent hours talking about Mom, sharing memories and sobbing together. I started to wonder if getting older and being alone had finally softened him. By evening, though, the mood totally shifted. He wouldn't stop staring at me and started digging into my life and my boyfriend back in Seattle, asking how we met and how serious things were. I gave him the standard daughter-to-father answers. But
Yeah.
he kept pushing with invasive, deeply personal questions until I finally snapped.
Are you crazy? What kind of father snoops around his daughter's life like this?
The kind who's looking out for his girl. I've got every right to know who you're planning to settle down with, Ramona. Especially if they want to see you dressed in some bovine costume.
Whoa.
He grinned.
Whoa. Chill. Whoa, chill. That's a lot.
Disgust washed over me. I stood up and told him I was leaving, and that this whole trip had been a mistake. He blocked the doorway. Sit down. We need to talk.
We don't need to talk, bitch.
He shook his head and let out a hollow, creepy laugh. Oh, your innocence really did it for me. There's something you should know about your boyfriend.
What are you talking about?
Matthew doesn't exist, Ramona. He's not real.
I fucking knew it. I was gonna say it. This bitch made a fake account to talk to his daughter. Wow, you weird. Put this bitch in the prison, bro.
He never was. I froze.
You're insane.
Am I? He slid his laptop closer,
Nah.
showing me the chat history and pictures from all my...
Yo, she look good. Damn, but nah, why would you do this? She look good, but why would you do this? Come on, bro. Are you serious? Wow, this bitch. Wow, put him to jail, bro.
my late-night conversations with Matthew, including the ones where we discussed our fantasies and he'd made me get off.
Wow.
8 years ago.
Why?
Breathe.
You were weird, co-police. Co-police. Police kapati. Call police on the bitches.
Her lying.
Call the bad
Oh,
boys.
not. He started reading our chats out loud, including the private parts, sexual confessions, fantasies, and insecurities I'd shared with a man I believe cared about me. My eyes welled with tears.
Wow.
Why?
To protect you, Ramona.
Protect me from what, bitch? You pedophile?
We're picking the wrong men. I had to guide you, show you what a real relationship looks like. Teach you things so you'd become a real woman.
You're sick.
I did this for you! His voice rose.
You're
with every
weird,
word.
bro.
Everything I've done has been for you. Since you were a child, I've watched you and cared for you and loved you. And you ran away. I had to find a way back. I ran for the door. He grabbed my arm and pulled me back. Don't leave. We can talk about this. We'd be perfect together. You know I
You what? Yo, suck him. Rocket suck him. Get your hand off like this and suck him with the right or left, whatever.
can make you feel. I shoved him hard. He stumbled backward, lost his balance, and fell down the staircase. I
Yeah.
heard him hit the bottom and groan.
Now get your
but
bitch ass
didn't
on.
stop or check on him.
Get your
I
bitch
grabbed
ass
my
on.
bag, got in my car, and drove away.
Weirdo.
A
Get your
week
bitch ass
later,
on.
Neighbors called and said Leonard had vanished. Nobody had seen him since my visit. His house was empty, and his car was gone. They asked if I knew where he was, and I said no. They asked if I could help search for him. I refused. They thought I was cold and unfeeling. They didn't know what he'd done, or what he'd been doing my entire life. I
Wow.
scrubbed every trace of him from my life. I deleted the profiles, nuked the chat logs, and blocked the fake account. I tried to bury the fact that I'd ever let him in and shared parts of myself I'd never shown another living soul. The cops never found him. He just vanished. Part of me is convinced he's still out there, lurking behind a screen, crafting a new identity just to crawl back into my life. But I'll never let him. Because I learned my lesson the hard way. I'm done with the apps, done with the games. I don't trust a soul I haven't looked dead in the eye. And even then, I'm searching for the rot underneath. Unfortunately, I'm one of those women who learned way too early just how filthy a man can be. How their hunger doesn't give a damn about bloodlines or boundaries.
Wow.
To them, family is just another word for easy target. And I'm putting this out there so you won't become one. Be careful, ladies.
Wow. Be careful, ladies, for real. That's crazy. That was a crazy story. Yo, bro, that was crazy story. That was goddamn, bitch. I wasn't expecting that shit, dog. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of expecting that, but kind of not. I don't know. I'm gonna see you boys next one. I love y'all. Peace.